Pakistan cricket at its best. 1 minute down, next minute up.
Saj Sadake on behalf of PakPassion bringing you another exclusive interview. Absolutely delighted and honoured to be joined by my guest today. I've looked at some of his profiles online, and basically, he's a Pakistani entrepreneur, software professional. He's the founder and CEO of Walee Technologies, who we all know are now involved in the Pakistan Super League. He bought the Multan Sultans franchise when it became available, and then obviously revamped it to RawalPindiz. He's a technology entrepreneur, and I know he's very passionate about everything he does in terms of his own career, Walee Technologies, and also Pakistan cricket as well. Great to be joined by Ahsan Tahir. Ahsan bhai, hope you're doing well.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. It's good to be here. Huge fan of the account, as I mentioned earlier. And yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Ahsan bhai, 245 crore for the franchise. Good business?
I think it's not 245 crore for the franchise. It's 245 crore for the overall city, the economic opportunity that it represents, the retail opportunity that it represents. And naturally, I think I had mentioned it earlier in a couple of other different blogs and podcasts as well. Wali coming from a very data background and specializing in two different domains, media and finance, and naturally powered by technology. So when you look at media, you look at finance, you're looking at different consumer products in media, you're looking at different products in finance as well. In finance, we own insurance products. In finance, we own lending products. In finance, we own personal finance products. In finance, we own remittance products. In finance, we own giving products, actually. So a lot of B2C businesses there. Similarly, when you go towards the media side, we have one of the biggest media buyers in Pakistan, not just Pakistan, but actually in the Gulf region as well. Then we own a couple of content properties. We own a couple of networks and distributions. So when you look at all of our B2C businesses, for me, the team is essentially a consumer acquisition channel. And because South Asia, for South Asia, cricket is like not less than a religion, actually. So that's why when you're looking at cricket, you're looking at, even just within Pakistan, you're looking at a couple of 100 million fans who are very vested in the sports. And same, you have the fan base available in India as well. You have the fan base available in Bangladesh as well. So we're looking at the economic opportunity of that. And as you mentioned, that's why it's not just a one season. It's a 12-month long entertainment products, a lot of consumer products. And hence, to find 245 crore is very well justified in my mind, to be very honest.
When you bought the franchise, it was obviously under the guise of Multan Sultans because that's what was available. Many people will want to know why you changed it to RawalPindi, and obviously it became RawalPindiz.
Okay, so I would like to clarify this one specific point that actually the auction was for the team slot 8. Not necessarily for Multan Sultan. So I have huge respect for Multan Sultan, and I would never actually interfere with the legacy of Multan South Punjab. And Gohar has done a splendid job in taking care of that legacy as well. So we actually just bought a team. And even pre-auction, we had the contractual clarity that we can rename to what we are comfortable with. And naturally coming from Rawalpindi, even if I went for Multan, I would not have been able to justify what Multan deserves. But Rawalpindi, we live and breathe Rawalpindi. The most of the founding team, the most of the management staff, the coaches, and not just that, there's a big entourage around in the branding teams and the marketing teams. Everybody's more or less from Rawalpindi or can really understand Rawalpindi. The street culture, the struggle of the daily common man there, how the businesses grow in that specific economic belt. So for us, Rawalpindi is very natural. It just feels very right to us. It just feels very natural to us. So that's why it was a lifelong dream for us to be able to play cricket. That did not pan out. So Allah Ta'ala plans for the best, definitely. But yes, it's an honor and a privilege to be able to represent Rawalpindi at the biggest cricketing stage in the country.
I had a lot of questions regarding the choice of Justin Kemp as head coach. Many people think it's an exciting appointment. Some are a little bit surprised. Can you just sort of explain why you went for Kemp, please?
Okay, so I think I would not just specifically explain the rationale of Kemp. I would look at the coaching as a whole, right? And as I mentioned earlier, that it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? And if you look at previous stints as well of Justin Kemp, he has done some fabulous work, even if at the national level or even at the league level as well. So we feel that there is a long trajectory available in terms of career development of different players. Career development is an absolutely important aspect to the whole strategy, and that's why Courtney Walsh is there actually. His stats speak for. I think he was the first person in the world to actually get 500 test wickets. If I'm not so sure, I would put a static there, but I'm pretty sure. I think he was the first person in the world to get to that milestone. So, and RawalPindiz has always been known for producing pacers, always been known for its pacers, right? Always the fast bowling talent, absolute splendid talent coming out of RawalPindiz. So we wanted Courtney Walsh there so that he can develop the young cricketers coming, so that in the next couple of seasons we have a strong bench of pacers as well. And being myself as a failed fast bowler, so I have a little bit of bias towards the pacers. And I personally feel that the T20 cricket has become majorly about the batsman now. There is not much, not a lot that bowlers can do anymore. I personally feel that some rules need to be changed to give the bowlers a fair chance, and that's not happening as of now. So that's why I think, hence the coaching staff is there in terms of the head coach Justin Kemp, or the bowling coach or Courtney Walsh, or the batting coach, etc. That we need that career trajectory for each player to be available. So that's the overall mentality behind the whole coaching staff.
Every critic in Pakistan, there's a person who will say positively. Now, Mohammad Rizwan divides the nation. His T20 brand of cricket divides the nation. You know as well as I know, some people are in favour of him, some people are against him. Was he an easy choice as captain?
I think okay, so personally, because now this experience comes from us also leading an organization that is more than 500 people, right? And so we are in the business of developing teams and developing habits, and not just definitely the corporate teams operate much more different as compared to the sports team. But still, it always comes down to the value system of the person who is leading the team. The value system, I'm talking about the value system, not talking about his individual contributions. I'm not talking about his skills. I'm talking about the value system. How does that person act when the pressure is there? How does that person act when he wins? How does that person act when he loses? That whole value system, that persona, that aura around that individual, I think that's what we have always been after. And mashallah, Sajbhai, you know the whole cricketing fraternity. Everybody would actually have a subjective opinion on the reality, but nobody would ever question that the environment of the dressing room when Rizzi is in there is absolutely different as compared to any other captain. I'm after that environment in the dressing room. I'm not after how a person performs individually. Things will change, conditions change, grounds change, player combinations change, environments change, contexts change. But that value system says, if that value system is there, you'll get a champion team. And it's not like you can just put everything on a hot burner and expect results in a day or two. It takes time. It's a painful process. So you need a guardian, a custodian who can take that painful journey with you. And for me, I personally feel that Rizzi is the embodiment of that value system. Again, I'm constantly emphasizing on the value system. And that's the culture of actually RawalPindiz as a city as well. It's very warm in terms of the personalities. It embraces people. It's very easy to, okay, we fine, we fail. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's learn. Let's improvise. Because RawalPindiz inherently does not have a lot of rich elite people. It's normally a city of the common man. So every day a person goes through that daily struggle of getting from point A to point B, living from paycheck to paycheck. It's not very business oriented city. It's very bureaucratic. So everybody's just working, on salaries. So the lives are hard. The common stories are very interesting too, and that's what Rizzi is for me as well. That person. I'm pretty sure under Rizzi captaincy, we will develop a champion team, and that will be for years to come, inshallah. I'm very confident of that. Other than that, in terms of his capabilities as a captain, as an individual, I have explained his capabilities as a leader. Now, coming to him as a captain, and I have the privilege and the honor of working with him for quite some time, he has a very analytical mind, very analytical mind, very analytical mind. And even if when you're working with him on sitting on planning sessions, etc., he would look at permutations of all the scenarios. And he's very realistic in terms of, okay, this is what can go worse. This is what can go even more worse. So he would plan for scenario A, scenario B, scenario C. And the interesting part is after the match, he would be like, somebody see, the worst scenario number B panned out. so the I'm sorry, so the brownie points there that, okay, it's not a shocker, but still, why did it happen? So he's a very analytical mind. So I think if you have a good leader who can act as a guardian and a custodian to the young talent that's coming up, who can partner with the coaching and the management staff to come up with the right plan. So I think he's a very right fit in there. So literally the whole franchise as of now is designed around him. We want to take that brand, that value system of the city, inshallah, with us in the future as well.
Speaking of fast bowlers, Ahsan, by Naseem Shah, one of the golden boys of Pakistan cricket. A little bit of controversy recently. Your thoughts on the harsh, many feel a very harsh penalty for something that his social media manager posted?
Okay, so look, there has been a lot of discussion around it already out there. And but the thing is, number one, as a franchise and as Naseem as a player, we all understand that it's a very slippery slope once players gets involved in political commentary. It's a very slippery slope. And naturally, the players represent the heartbeat and the sentiments of the millions and millions and millions of people, right? So if they start going to that direction, it gets very ugly very fast, right? Hence, there are very clear legal guardrails around to not prevent that from happening. And that's been there for years before us as well. So we understand that reality as well. And initially, what we understood from the committee that the judgment was actually quite harsher, much more than this. And then actually, Chairman Mohsin Naqvi Saab intervened, and he substantially reduced to just the fine, and even the fine he reduced it to actually relatively smaller amount than what was initially proposed from the committee and etc. So yeah, I think that's that. I think it's we understand that the player should not be involved in political commentary. It's a very slippery slope that has happened across the border, and that has given the world a very different flavor of the cricket. That's not very pleasant, actually. So I'm a big advocate of making sure that sports stay away from all of that as much as possible.
You put on social media that you wanted crowds to return. You posted a message for the Prime Minister of Pakistan. Has there been any change of heart, any discussions as to whether crowds are going to be allowed in the latter stages of the tournament or upcoming matches?
There has been requests and there have been meetings, but personally, when I assess that, now I'm not saying it as an owner, but when I look at it as somebody who owns multiple businesses in Pakistan, I don't think so that's going to happen, to be very honest. We're putting in requests, and the stakeholders have been very empathetic towards the sentiment of the PSL. Because the lack of the crowds is not just a perception problem, it's an economic problem as well for the league in terms of its financials. And the broader advertising ecosystem as well. So there's a big severe concern. There are a lot of question marks there. But if you notice that in Pakistan today, I think they have hiked the petrol and diesel prices by, I think, 15 to 20% today. I'm not so sure of the exact percent because I was busy with the match, but I think it's quite a bit of an increase there. So when you're constantly increasing the fuel prices, and then and it's not just about bringing fans into the stadium. There is a big ecosystem in terms of securities and logistics and operations that enable that fans to come into the stadium and experience it. And that also costs significant. So having that level of an OPEX incurred when the country is going through the worst energy crisis in the history of the country, it does not make sense. Even if, like, there has been a lot of discussions around, okay, partially charging the people who can afford by and enabling the people who cannot. There has been a lot of a lot of models have been discussed. Like so, has been an active effort. But as personally, if you ask me, I don't think so. It's going to happen because again, it's not just about the fan. Huge security and operational ecosystem has to mobilize, and that cost is staggering, staggering. So I don't know. I personally feel I don't think so. It will happen, but as a fan, yes, of course. As a broadcaster, I desperately need crowd in the stadium, and as a franchise owner, you miss them dearly. Like no six or four or wicket carries any meaning without the fans in the stands. Yeah, it's very dry. It's very soulless without fans.
It's been a tough start for RawalPindiz. Were you expecting it to be this tough?
Actually, no. And you know how they say that the first casualty of the war is the plan. It's a very famous saying, and I think we had been planning for. We knew that we had a good pace attack. I think we have a good pace attack, and but they have not been able to find rhythm. I think we have done few things right. So I will naturally, when a loss is part of the game, so I will not discount the things that we did get right. I think our batting combinations are very strong. I think we have an absolutely fireworks of a opening stand available, and then we have depth, very strong middle order. And if you know, Pakistan cricket historically has suffered from middle order a lot historically, and hence we had some foreign players available in that anchoring role as well. So our batting goes deep, much deep. And we have seen that in today's match as well, that even when the opening collapsed, we still have a lot of betting to go and very stable. But yes, the bowling is not clicking as of now. I think the pace, they have not been able to find rhythm. I'm really worried. I have not been able to get the report around Naseem because he walked off with a back issue. And that's actually, by the way, was something that RawalPindiz has invested a lot in terms of physios, in terms of masseuse, in terms of doctors who are available round the clock to make sure that the players get the rehab. And I think Pakistan cricket as an infrastructure lacks that. I wanted to highlight one specific one I was thinking about today because I have been a football fan all my life as well. And whenever a player gets signed, there's a big discussion around the medical reports of that player as well, even before the contracts get completed, right? So I think down the road, when more auctions happen, like there are mini auctions planned and then there are major auctions planned later on as well, I think there needs to be a big component on the medical aspect of every player as well. And Pakistan inherently lacks that rehab infrastructure and the support available around the player to really make sure that they are able to perform at their best. And so, yeah, overall, I think that the bowling naturally has not been able to click. But I know that we have warriors mentality, warrior bowlers. I know the mentality. I know the mentality. Amir Bhai, you will not find a more disciplined cricketer than that. My God, the guy works like a robot. Like, literally, it's not funny. And Naseem, the raw passion, raw passion. I really hope his back is okay. But we just need to find that right combination around the bowling. And I think we are good to go. It's a long season, so I think nothing is lost there. It's just two games. A lot is supposed to happen. The pitches are, it was a second game on the same pitch as well today. Fielding has been a little bit of a concern today, but the outfield was very wet. And hence you saw a couple of catches dropped on the Karachi side as well. So naturally there's a concern. But definitely, I think when the bowling, the pace attack, a little, we have actually lost Zaman Khan as well. So I think we are more and more feeling that loss because that guy was supposed to do the death bowling. The last 3-4 overs, as you can see, that we are always in the both matches, we were in the winning conditions around the 15th or 16th over in the both matches. It's the last 3 or 4 overs that are really struggling there. So we are lacking that experienced person to make sure that those 4 overs are taken care of. So yeah, I think, but we will naturally work on those. Nobody plans for the loss, but I think we definitely anticipated some problems there. But yeah, I think we will overcome that, inshallah.
You sound like somebody who's in it for the long haul rather than just 1 or 2 seasons. Hassan, and I know for a fact I keep in touch with Rashid Latif, who's an old friend of mine, and I know he's doing a lot of work behind the scenes for yourselves in terms of the academies, etc., etc. If you could just tell our viewers about some of the work that's going on behind the scenes by Rashid Latif.
Okay, so first, Sajbhai, look, I always look at cricket as because I come from a broadcasting background, so P&L are very important to us. And I look at franchise cricket as well as to make sure that you have a sustainable economic model around it. When you want to work on that, you just cannot make up your investment in 39 days or 44 matches. You need you need a 12-month long activity to make sure that you have a lot more business opportunities. But to make that happen, you need a lot more talent, and you need more and more talent to be part of the franchise. You need some of them to really start from the basic and make sure that they, inshallah, one day reach the national scale. And you have many tournaments happening here and there. You need to have a structure behind that franchise team as well to make sure that you have a constant feed of players coming in. So naturally there is an economic model to it. There is a supply chain model to it. So when you look at that, then you need a person who's really passionate about developing players. It's really not just math. Somebody just really needs to be obsessed about finding, scouting, and developing players. And as you know, Rashid Bhai is obsessed. Literally, he's obsessed about finding and scouting and developing players. And he has given Pakistan some of the best talents in the recent years, some of the best talents. So yeah, I think Rashid Bhai has the complete authority on that. We will be developing academies. We are also looking at small scale mini tournaments or leagues to make sure that you have a constant feed behind the franchise team. And so yeah, there are a lot of things in their plan. It's definitely going to be a 12-month long. I would like to call it entertainment because I need to sell it as well. So it's a 24/7, 365 entertainment with this franchise. And so yeah, a lot of stars, a lot of players. And inshallah, in some years, we will have, inshallah, actually, as an owner, it will be an honor and a privilege to make sure that a couple of really strong players from the Pindiz franchise are scouted and fed into the national team. I think that would be a really big honor. And as a bias towards the fast bowlers, I would love if we can find some paces.
I was just going to say that the Lahore Qalandars are undoubtedly the kings of these, camps and the talent hunts and finding these rough diamonds and making them into players like Harris, Rauf, etc. It sounds like from your passion and your vision, that's something that you want to do as well.
Yeah, I think this Lahore calendar has absolutely given some recent superstars from the franchise cricket from the play development program into the national team. But also, it's very important to understand that I would like to highlight another point as well. Somebody was questioning me that the original teams are priced at not even 50% of the new teams. And I was explaining to that person that, look, it's just like venture capital. They invested in a product that nobody believed in. And we are investing in a product that's already stable, that has a proven record and economic model. So naturally, high risk, high rewards for them. And we are coming in, so they are the one that really gave the seed investment to this whole product. And we are now investing to scale the product. Naturally, so different objectives here. So similarly, what Lahore has done in terms of player development program, they have given us a framework, they have given us a structure, and the consistency, it has yielded result. So we will look at that framework and see how we can scale it up.
And in terms of aims and targets as a new team, is it about consolidation, or is it a case of getting into the faces of the opposition and, ruffling a few feathers this season?
So I think it's a mix of both. Definitely, if I know we will get to talk to each other a lot, inshallah, in coming time. So you will get to understand my personality. I'm a really happy-go person. I'm not very much of a rivalry kind of a person. You will see me. I will always be friends with everyone. But if anybody pokes a finger at one of my friend, I would skin that person alive. So that's kind of my personality. So I think that's the mentality of the team as well. We will be friends with everyone, and you will always see us being very gracious in our losses and being very humble in our wins as well. Always, always. So it's better to be on the right side. So if you are a friend of ours, we'll take care of you. But if you end up on the wrong side of it, you will see a very different version of us.
Now I know you're a big Liverpool fan, and
Oh
my
yeah.
last question is going to be, what are your feelings about Mohamed Salah leaving, and who should replace him?
Oh my goodness. You just hit a wrong nerve there. So look, and I am from that era when Stevie G was the thing, right? And we started. I was a fan of Gerrard, not particularly Liverpool in the start, right? So it was an English team, and it was all about Gerrard. And from Gerrard, it actually turned into a Liverpool love, right? And so, and again, I know it's not possible in the modern football, but you would. I'm from that era where you would expect unrealistic loyalty from everyone. So it was unimaginable for us to see Torres leave from Liverpool to go to Chelsea. That was, I remember the day, I am pretty sure I cried that day because it was just, we were kids and you could not understand that. But how? How can Torres leave Liverpool and that to go to Chelsea? Go to another league. Why are you going to Chelsea? So when your ideals are Gerrard and you are from that era, where you would always look at, and even if you look at Jurgen Klopp, when he was the one, when he led us to a couple of big title wins in the recent year, he also is that same. So Borussia Dortmund is also from that same value system. Dortmund and Liverpool are very close in terms of their value system and in terms of their chance and vision and mission, etc. as well. So for me, for Saleh to leave at this stage, I don't have the right word for it to be. I don't understand it to be very honest. Why you are worshipped in this part of the world, and Saleh had huge impact on the Liverpool community as a whole. There used to be actually factions and boxes in terms of Islamophobic and etc. 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 The guy really changed the landscape there. Absolutely changed the landscape, and he's worshipped there, and he's achieved so much here. So maybe a couple of 1 or 2 seasons of downturn and somebody decide to leave. I don't know. I don't have the right. It's obnoxious. That's the one word for it. I don't want to get into it a lot, but it hurts my feeling to be very honest.
Ahsan bhai, really appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Stay on the line because I'm going to stop the video, but we'll there's a couple of other things I need to discuss with you. I hope our viewers enjoyed this interview. I'm sure they will have done a little bit of insight into the RawalPindiz outlook regarding the PSL, Ahsan bhai's vision for RawalPindiz as well. And all I can say is wish you all the best for the future, and wish your team all the best for the future. And I think it's fantastic that you're doing this interview with a Pindiz shirt on. I think that just shows your passion. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.